Tank never wanted to be a world champion. He wanted to be a pay-per-view star. So everybody don't know that. And that's what's so brilliant about Tank. I've been around Tank for so long, I listened to him, and same way like he listened to me and turned into me, I listened to him. Because you can't play with boxing. It's a hurt sport. Most hurters don't want to be hurt. But each one of us have that drive of that aggressive that we want to let it out sometimes. And that's the energy. He feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can be in the moment and you don't know you're in the moment. Just seeing all this stuff unfold. It's a lot of stuff that people don't know behind the scenes that, we've been keeping notes on it right now, just to see this whole thing unfold.
Where you said, boxing helped save my life. What do you mean by that?
5 of the fighters that I started with, all of them did.
All of them succumbed to the street violence.
Yeah, all of them got killed in the streets.
And you believe boxing is what saved you?
Yeah, boxing definitely saved my life. I could have been, I was younger than them, so I remember my coach, Coach Kenny, jacking up a fighter, like, you gotta stay out the streets. And probably like a year later, he got killed, so it definitely saved my life.
I was angry a lot as a kid. I was taken away from my family. I couldn't see my mother. When I came to the gym, I felt the love that I needed as a child, and I just stuck with it.
Both of my parents was on drugs. They were both on drugs, and my mother left me and my brother in the house by herself, so they took us into custody, We were the new kids on the block, I was fighting a lot, fighting in school, fighting on the block, so.
We pushing each other. He's very competitive, I'm very competitive. Everybody's trying to be first,
Tank was about 7 years old when he first came to the gym. Tank was always here at the gym with us. Every time I come in, he was here. Every time it was time to leave, he was here. That's what made him so special.
I always said he was one of those fighters.
All right, y'all. Let's go. Bang!
It's just less than 3 weeks to go till the controversial fight, and Jake Paul has revealed his secret weapon that will make a difference in the fight, and this time, it's not another flashy piece of equipment or a wild new trainer. It's a world champion. The hype around Tank versus. Jake Paul keeps building with each passing day, and it's not slowing down. From the knockout bonus to the unexpected alliances forming behind the scenes, this entire build-up feels like something that belongs on Netflix already. And now, Jake Paul has added another talk, bringing a world champion in to spar with him as he prepares for the November 14th showdown in Miami.
Can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that.
Okay.
It just depends. As a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But
this detail came straight from Jake's own mouth during an interview with TMZ Sports. You could tell he's starting to feel the weight of what's ahead. He called it his most dangerous fight yet, admitting that for the first time in a while, nerves are starting to get to him. Internally, I'm the most scared going into a fight that I've actually ever been, Jake has said. Being vulnerable for a second, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night.
And just his speed, his elusiveness, his ring IQ, his conditioning. He's gone 12 rounds so many different times, something that I've never even done. So he's going to be sharp all the way through. I mean, the list goes on. And so just actually being vulnerable for a second, it's like, this is crazy. This is scary.
However, he has immediately balanced that vulnerability with the news that he's been stacking his camp with elite talent. Alongside regulars like Raymond Ford and Montana Love, he revealed that Shakur Stevenson, one of the most defensively sound boxers in the world, would be joining his camp to help him sharpen up before facing Tank Davis.
Man, I'm thinking about, Bigfoot versus Littlefoot. Andre the Giant versus Wee Man. Man, this is gonna be better than damn Circus Olay. Yeah, they're gonna look weird as hell in the ring together, man. You see how big Jake Paul is? 200 plus pounds? Man, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Now, That's the part that caught everyone off guard. Because if you followed boxing even loosely over the past few years, you know Stevenson and Gervonta Davis have never been on friendly terms.
When it comes to Davis, you know, he says in the press conference, what do you say? Just be a fan and watch the fight and enjoy the fight. Enjoy what, bro? You against Uber drivers? I don't want to watch that. You know what I mean? And then you get a guy who gives you a good fight. Don't you give him a rematch? You know what I mean? And then you want to be compared to Floyd. Floyd gave instantaneous rematches. You know what I mean?
The two have traded words on social media, teased a fight that never materialized, and constantly drawn comparisons for their skills at lightweight. So, to see Stevenson crossing that invisible line and stepping into Jake Paul's camp, that's huge. Shakur himself seemed excited about it, posting on X. Fire, get a chance to pick a great business mind and help give some game in the process, I'm down. It's a short post, but it says plenty. He sees an opportunity, not just to spar, but to study, to learn, and maybe even to send a subtle message to Davis in the process.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
What makes this collaboration even more interesting is why it makes sense strategically. Stevenson's game is built around timing, control, and angles, the exact things Jake will need to understand if he hopes to survive Davis's pressure. Tank isn't just fast and explosive, he's calculated. He breaks fighters down, round by round, and forces mistakes. Stevenson has studied that up close for years. By bringing him in, Jake's essentially hiring a human playbook for how to handle Davis's rhythm and movement.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, you know, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are.
Meanwhile, back in Miami, the stage is set. The fight will take place at the Kaseya Center, and Jake has made it clear that he's not coming to just survive. He's slimming down, adjusting his conditioning to match Davis's pace, and focusing on countering explosiveness with timing. My goal is to walk Tank into a knockout like I've done with other opponents, Jake said. It's bold, but that's been his approach since day one, control the chaos and make the moment his. At this point, the buildup is starting to feel cinematic. There's a knockout bonus on the table, psychological games on both sides, and now a known rival of Davis walking into Jake's corner. It's the kind of setup that blurs the line between promotion and storyline.
A 92-pound weight difference, almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What don't you understand about this? If you want respect from your peers, if you want everyone on the planet.
What's funny, though, is that even with all this collaboration, Shakur Stevenson isn't actually picking Jake Paul to win. He's been straightforward about that. In his interview with TMZ, Stevenson made it clear that while he respects Jake's preparation, he still believes Gervonta Davis will walk away the better man. Size will play some part in the fight, Shakur said. If I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just going to go out there and try to outbox him, use my knowledge and IQ against him. I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Gio's world, facts. That's why Tank wants to fight Jake Paul. I'm telling you, he want to fight Jake Paul because he know if he climb in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, he's going to get zapated. He know it.
That's vintage Shakur, logical, composed, and analytical. He doesn't get caught up in the noise. He knows Tank's ring IQ is underrated. Most people focus on his power, but Stevenson sees the thinker behind the punches, the way Davis reads opponents, breaks them down, and sets traps. To him, Jake's size is an advantage, but not a deciding one.
I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now, but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's the top dog, there's no doubt about it. He showed that.
However, not everyone sees it that way. Terrence Crawford, arguably one of the most complete fighters of this era, has a totally different read. Speaking on the Full Send podcast, Crawford said he's leaning toward Jake Paul to pull off the upset. And his reasoning? Pure physics. Jake is too big for Tank, Crawford said.
The camp of the latter. But instead of giving us the rematch with Roach, he's going to fight Jake Paul. Now, this is where you have a chance to stand up as fans. Don't pay for it. Don't watch it. But we know that you're going to.
In reality, he's way too big for Tank. Tank is very talented, can punch hard, and is explosive. Jake can punch with that right hand. I've seen it up close and personal. The dude is big, he's not as slow as people think he is, and he can punch. Honestly, I think Jake by youth. There ain't no winner, it's an exhibition, but Jake is too big. If they really go at it, he's too big. Tank isn't going to be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm owned.
Crawford's perspective hits differently because he's one of the few elite fighters who spent time around Jake's training firsthand. He's seen the power. He's watched how much Jake has improved with each fight. And his point about the jab isn't minor. Jake's whole style revolves around that long reach and setting up the right hand. Against someone with Tank's shorter frame, that could be a real problem.
Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
Everything around Gervonta Davis's camp right now feels like controlled chaos. You can see it in the way his people talk, the way clips are leaking out, and the way the media is being fed bits of information meant to paint a picture that he's not just keeping up with bigger men, but outright dominating them. It's all muscle and menace, with his camp sending out the message that this version of Tank hits harder than ever before.
And you know what, PBC has to be called out in this too. They have one of the biggest stars in boxing, and they're putting him in this farcical fight. And they are struggling for survival, PBC. I mean, they are just falling apart. You know, the Pacquiao fight did terrible, you know, terribly promoted.
They're saying he's putting guys down in sparring, that heavyweights are being thrown back by his shots, that even when the weight gap looks insane on paper, the damage still tilts in Tank's favor. That's the tone they're selling, not careful or strategic, just pure danger.
The fight is scheduled and everybody's going to watch it. So with all the eyes on it, there's only one result that is going to be of satisfactory. Only one result. And if Tank knocks out Jake. That's the only result.
Behind that noise, though, there's a sense that Davis knows what he's really walking into. He's smaller, naturally lighter, and now he's trying to bulk up without losing that signature explosion that makes him lethal at 135. So his training isn't just about conditioning anymore. It's about adjusting how he carries power into a heavier body.
What do you think of Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis? I know on Instagram you call it a circus.
Yeah, boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah?
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me questions like that again.
He's not doing marathon sparring rounds, he's doing short, violent bursts. It's less about pacing for 12 rounds and more about finding that one clean opening that can turn the fight in an instant. He's trying to preserve the Tank that fans know, the one who ends things early. And the confidence coming out of his camp borders on defiance. His trainer Calvin Ford has been pretty blunt about the conditions, especially the gloves.
My only concern is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying?
He wanted Tank to wear smaller gloves, the 8-ounce ones that carry more sting, while Jake Paul sticks with 10s or 12s. Ford knew those details matter. To him, that's the one equalizer Tank still controls. The rest, he's not pretending to be calm about. They're not running from the fact that Jake's the naturally bigger guy. They just don't care. They signed the contract and turned the entire focus on making every punch count double.
Tried to play it off and throw it back on Coach Calvin, Gervonta, and their team and say that was their idea. But that makes no sense, bro, because Gervonta fights in 8-ounce gloves. 8-ounce gloves. Now Jake fights in 10-ounce gloves. 10-ounce gloves.
But Jake Paul's side is watching every clip Tank's camp releases, and they're laughing at it. They're calling it staged, saying the footage is cropped to show dominance but never struggle. They're saying the dangerous in camp talk is just marketing. Paul even mocked it publicly, saying his team had heard Tank looked dangerous, and he couldn't help but laugh. That kind of trash talk isn't random. It's meant to poke holes in Davis's intimidation campaign. Jake's not just training for a fight, he's managing perception. He knows how the headlines move, how people react to confidence. So he plays the opposite role, calm, confident, unfazed, almost dismissive, until the cameras are off, and then he brings in high-level pros to prepare him for every angle Tank might throw.
Why y'all couldn't take 10 and he had 8? Already he giving up 4 ounces of the gloves. I gotta say this because y'all betting all this money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait, you guys were the ones that wanted 12-ounce gloves, not me. I'll do 8. I'll do 4. I'll do 2 ounces. I'll do.
Davis, on the other hand, has gone into full silence mode except for the occasional post where he just lets off a quick reaction. He's not trying to sell the story. He's trying to remind everyone who he is. He doesn't talk his way into fights. He hurts people into silence. That's the energy his whole team is running on right now.
Looking good in this. I don't know how it is. It looks to me, David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't. But I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons of millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis goes back to his...
The sessions being described out of his gym sound brutal. Big guys brought in specifically to test his balance, to lean on him, to drag him into clinches, and he's responding by going harder, loading up, finding ways to break their rhythm. That's been the entire tone of camp. Get used to size, punish anyone who tries to use it. The leaked clips, the gym rumors, even the tone of his camp interviews, it's all painting the same picture. Tank's been walking through bigger men, and that's how they want him to see Jake.
To know in some things, I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab.
But when you strip away the talk, it's still a high-risk move. This isn't a normal step up in weight. This is a leap. Tank's never been anywhere near 190 pounds. Even with muscle gain, that's a world of difference. Power doesn't always translate. Stamina changes, balance changes, and getting hit by a guy that size isn't the same. Everyone in the boxing world knows that, and that's part of what makes this whole thing so controversial. It's the kind of matchup that feels more like a dare than a competition. But that's exactly why Davis took it. He knows the critics said it made no sense, so he's trying to prove that size doesn't matter when your timing is sharper, your reaction is quicker, and your instincts are faster than anyone's in the room.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-off this Tank done. He gets in their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to be.
And still, there's something else going on here. Something personal. Davis isn't just fighting Jake Paul. He's fighting the image of what Jake represents. Paul's built his career off proving real fighters wrong. Every time someone said he'll get exposed, he didn't.
Man, I'm thinking about, Bigfoot versus Littlefoot. Andre the Giant versus Wee Man. Man, this is gonna be better than damn Circus Olay. Yeah, they gonna look weird as hell in the ring together, man. You see how big Jake Paul is? 200 plus pounds? Man, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
So for Davis, this fight isn't about belts or rankings. It's about erasing that narrative altogether. You can feel that in how he's preparing. He's treating it like a test of legacy, not a payday. He's not joking around about it, and he's not calling it an exhibition. Inside that gym, they're training like it's life or death.
He put that up to let it be known, hey, I'm after the paper right now. And I got to say this, Tank, most definitely, bro, him, not them that did his stuff in his career, but the move that he made recently, and I'm going to say not taking that rematch against Roach first, that was most definitely going to be a blockbuster event. Everybody wanted to.
Meanwhile, Paul's using that same seriousness against him. He's been open about the fact that he's scared. He said it himself, but that fear is fueling him. He's sparring with faster, sharper guys who fight in Tank's rhythm, trying to simulate that split-second speed that Tank brings. He's trimming down muscle, building agility, making sure that when Tank explodes, he can step back just far enough to make him miss. And then he plans to counter. That's his entire mindset. Don't get caught. and make the smaller man pay for every inch of ground he takes.
Jake Paul brings something to media and to boxing. You cannot miss a fight. I like it, V. I like the drama it's bringing, I'll be honest.
But nobody really cares about this fight.
Yeah, are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, of course. That's how it's gonna go. Nobody really cares, but everybody's gonna watch it. Like
he said, nobody cares about this fight.
Teofimo Lopez didn't hesitate to speak his mind about the upcoming Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight, and his take was as casual as it was cutting. To him, this isn't legacy material, it's a business move. When asked whether a loss would hurt Davis's reputation, Lopez brushed it off with a smirk. Not at all, he said. It'll just impact his bank account. For Lopez, the idea of Tank's legacy taking a hit from an exhibition-style clash is nonsense. He sees it as a side quest, one last cash out before the curtain closes.
Boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
Davis has already hinted at retirement before the end of 2025, and with that timeline closing in, this Jake Paul fight feels like a test of what's left. It's less about rankings or belts and more about the statement, the show, and maybe the money that comes with it. But not everyone is sold on the idea. UFC President Dana White broke it down bluntly. He's too small. White admitted Tank hits harder than Mayweather ever did, but size is the deal breaker. Jake's massive, he said. He's going to tie him up, lean on him, make it ugly. Coming from someone who's seen every kind of fight up close, that's not empty talk, it's realism.
Yeah, just a lot of punching down, practicing, hitting below my knees, and a lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds.
one thing.
I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat your ass and I'm gonna beat Jadon Love.
And then there's Matt Brown, who took a more balanced approach. If Tank takes it serious, he's going to beat Jake, he said. But Brown also questioned Tank's focus, wondering if he's mentally in the same sharp place he once was. Still, he has given him the edge in skill. Tank should be able to run circles around him, touch him up, hurt him. He just can't get hit much. So that's the picture now. Respect, doubt, and curiosity all circling the same question. Which version of Tank shows up? Share your take below and subscribe for more.